Welcome in, everybody. Eric with the Hoof Podcast. I'm back at it. Took a little downtime. Got refreshed. Jets week didn't really need me anyways. And I am back. Feels great to be back with you fellas. How'd you guys stand?
It was great. It was good to not have you on for a while. We really appreciated you taking some time off. We did interview some other candidates that wanted to be the third wheel on the show, but it didn't work out. So we'll gladly take you back. I guess.
Back at it. Yeah, I guess Jay Spence got his other gig going on now, so he can't permanently fill your role.
It's just good to test, how much do I actually do for the team? And
yeah,
you guys were calling me, asking me questions. I was like, okay, all right. I have value, so it's good to know that.
You definitely have value.
Sterling had to take on the brunt of the technical side of things with posting the episodes.
We survived.
And all that. So there were some. That's right. We got through it. They're up there. We made it. The live show with the two of us was a little interesting, but we did that too. It worked out.
Sometimes you guys talk so much though that I don't talk anyways. So it's really your show anyway. So nothing new there, not too different.
Well, we need you to keep us grounded, though, when we get out of hand. So Tuesday's episode might have been the most off the rails, say all the craziest stuff because nobody was reeling us in.
Fair. Just let them go. It's Jets week. You need a little extra, especially when your team doesn't score any touchdowns, right?
Man, telling you, dude.
So as you guys know, I was driving across the country. I moved to New York. And that's been really not fun at all, honestly.
Why would you want to move?
Moving is so stressful.
Why would you want to move back to New York?
Your time on this planet is limited, and all my family is here, and I've missed a lot of time with them, living out west in the past 5 years, and, before that, I served in the military. I was gone for a long time there. So I just feel like I got to get back on board with the family stuff, and a couple hours away from them now, and it feels kind of good, get back involved with family, be around for the holidays. So, I'm overcoming the New York depression with the rain and the dark skies, but I'm filling that void with my family members.
So the real question is,
the secret about
once you get tired of the family, man, what are you gonna do? Because the weather's still depressing.
Yeah. Oh, it is all year, right? That's big secret about Denver is we get the most days of sunshine in the country, more than San Diego. So you're definitely going to miss that. I always do when I go back home. Wait until that dreary, the springtime when it's raining and overcast, and it's very depressing.
When we're all 50 years old, I think I'll thank myself because I won't have as many sunburns.
There you go.
I'm of Scottish descent, and we hate the sun.
Lower chance of
melanoma.
melanoma.
The sun hates me, so I think New York is where I'm supposed to be.
The scientist in me will tell you, yes, lower chance of melanoma. So there you go. No skin cancer for you.
Me being black, I don't have to deal with that at all. So
you can just live wherever you want. So you probably hate the cold.
You know what? I don't like the cold as much. I definitely prefer. I like a nice 70-degree weather. I'm good in there.
Yeah, I'm more of a 60 guy, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, my wife would probably leave me if I kept the AC on 60 all the time, but
I mean, I like the fall, so I'm all about it. I don't know if it's football, Halloween, which is my favorite holiday. It's the fall is my favorite, but I agree with Sterling. I'm more on the 70-degree end than I am the I do not miss the cold upstate New York winters. We had maybe 6 or 8 inches of snow here just the other day, and it was still the temperature outside was reading at like 8 degrees, 12 degrees, and it's nowhere near as cold as 32 degrees and wind in upstate New York.
Yeah.
So
is that why you hate Christmas? Because of the weather?
I just don't like the December holiday. Who cares?
You're just a Scrooge?
Yes. It's all about Halloween for me. So
I think in New York, you get the season change. You really feel the holidays out, right? Like in Thanksgiving, it's football weather. Like in Christmas, there's snow. Like they're supposed to be.
Man.
I don't know. There's some added value.
Anthony, can I at least get some
it.
peanut brittle off of you or something, bro? I know.
Anyway, guys, it's Patriots week. This is a highly sought-after week in the off-season because Tom Brady is no longer with the Patriots, and the Bills are leading the division right now, as predicted. And so, they're trying to go 6-2 for the second consecutive season. I'm pumped for this game, to be honest. Like, this is a big week. This is probably the biggest game today, honestly. Like, this season, I think it is.
Must win. It's the first must win of the season. Absolutely. Must win. You cannot lose this game. I don't care what happens. I don't care what excuses you have. Under no circumstances is it acceptable to lose this game. Period. Full stop. Well, it was okay to lose to Kansas City. It was okay to lose to Tennessee.
Right, coming off the bye.
With all the injuries, even if we lost to the Jets, as embarrassing as it would have been, it was not a must-win situation. This Patriots game is 100% a must-win game.
Wow. So, I mean, I think and me and Anthony talked about this on a Tuesday night show, I think from a psychological standpoint, it absolutely is utmost important to win this game. I mean, we've seen the damage and the pain that this Patriots team has caused over the years. I mean, just the fact that when I hear people say the Bills are atop the division, I don't believe it. I'm kind of like, say what? Say that again? Like, because we haven't been here.
Well, I mean, they've been in like the lead, but it's like always brief. Like a week or two, or like New England's one game behind, and they had a bye week or something like that. But right now, like the Bills are up 2 games. If they win this game, they'll be up 3 games on the Patriots.
That's huge. I mean, that's a big deal.
Heading into November, I mean that's huge.
A enormous deal. I don't know, man. It's still the Patriots. I don't know. It's like you have what do you call it? Like when it's like you go back and forth, man. You're excited, and then you're like, damn, this is the Patriots. But then you look at the roster in reality, you're like, okay. And you look at the film, you're like, they ain't that good.
Look, last year we talked about this. We had 100% had the better roster, no doubt about it. This year, once again, there's no doubt that the Buffalo Bills are better than the New England Patriots. There is not an analyst, there is not a professional, there is not a fan out there that will tell you the Patriots are better than the Bills at this point. That's never happened in the last 25 years, basically, right? So this is the time. You have to seize this moment. You are the better team up and down. You are playing better football up and down. We haven't had that happen to us. We were the better team last year, but we weren't playing better football, and they still got the best of us. But that team is not the same, as we've been saying all since the offseason, with the guys who have opted out, with Tom Brady leaving. That offense is still has no weapons that I'm afraid of. There's a lot of things about this Patriots team that they're just not good.
Yeah, you know what really sucks about this whole thing is, again, I say this every week, I think. No fans. Like, this game is very winnable. Yeah. The Patriots aren't very good, according to what we've seen on film the last few weeks. And now the fans don't get to enjoy that. And that's just, like, such a kick right in the gut, you know? Because that's, like, the amount of money I've spent going to Buffalo games in Buffalo when they play New England just to see, the replica of what happened in 2011 when Fitzpatrick beat them. I want to experience that. I have a couple friends there, and they're like Packers fans. They live in New York. Go figure. But they said even they're Packers fans, they still say that was the best football game they've ever been to in their entire life.
Wow. Love it. Gotta love it.
And you just don't get to experience that. And it's just like so depressing. Anyway, let's kick it off with cash or trash. We're going to do a little cash or trash.
That's trash, bro.
I'm going to go cash on that.
And Sterling, we'll start with you on this one. Tom Brady is winning the Bill and Tom divorce.
Yeah, Tom Brady is definitely winning. There are some caveats to that, though. Tom Brady he's in a better structural organization as far as roster building than New England right now, or Bill Belichick. So I just don't have much confidence in Bill's ability to draft talent, honestly. I know he can do great things, when he has someone on his roster, get the best out of him, but as far as his drafting is concerned, I don't think it's very good. So I'm going to go with cash. Tom Brady is definitely winning that divorce. This Tom Brady has 20 touchdown passes on the year. He's playing pretty well, but he does have a lot of weapons, and that does help. He's backed by a really good defense as well. I think that's one of the reasons why he decided to go to Tampa, because you look at top down, I mean, they don't really have a weakness on that roster.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's well known that I am the biggest Tom Brady hater out there. No question about it. Just a tiny little bit. Just a tiny smidge. Yeah, I hate the guy. But there's no question that he is definitely, this is cash all the way. He is winning this. And it doesn't even matter what's happening in Tampa Bay. Forget that, right? Like, who cares how good he's doing? It's just the fact that the Patriots are falling on their face without him, that Bill Belichick is not getting it done without him. And that's what they decided, right? They looked at each other and said, I can do this without you, right? And Tom said, well, I can do this without you, so we'll go our separate ways and see how it works out. Well, if they have that conversation again right now, Bill Belichick's saying, I'm sorry, you were right. I can't get it done without you because this team just isn't the same. And I agree, Sterling, that Bill Belichick cannot draft offensive talent, and that's what this team needs right now, right? He can't find a wide receiver in a year when there was fifth-round wide receivers who were playing that could have been first-round wide receivers in a normal year. So I don't trust Bill Belichick to get it done for that organization in terms of the offense. He's got to either turn that over to somebody else or, stick to the defensive evaluation. We know he gets the most out of players defensively. No question about it. He can turn a sixth-round draft pick into the star of a draft, right? But that's his specialty. But when it comes to offense, he's got nothing on that side of the ball anymore, nothing to rely on, nobody to throw it to. His quarterback is only under a one-year deal and is not playing well. The rookie they have, Jared Stidham behind him, he's not, anything to be excited about, at least not that we've seen yet.
Terrible.
So many holes there, and he'd be begging Tom Brady to come back. And Tom Brady's had pretty good success in Tampa Bay, as much as, again, it hurts me to say that, but he's doing pretty well with that team, and they are stacked, so it doesn't really matter, but it is what it is.
When you have a guy like Tom Brady for as long as Bill Belichick did, it's easy to believe that, okay, it's my system. But, I've watched every Patriots game, most of them in the last 10 years. And I think what I say when Cam Newton got signed to the Patriots, cool, he's talented. I think he could play well. But he's not going to bail out this team like Tom Brady did when they're down by 4 points against, the Denver. Brady wins that game, period.
Yeah, I think Cam Newton does have the clutch factor ability in his arsenal. Here's the problem that I have, or that I'm seeing, is that when you bring in a Cam Newton to run the Tom Brady-led offense, okay, that offense is predicated off of timing. It's predicated off of throws with anticipation. Cam Newton has never been a quarterback that throws off timing and anticipation. He's more of a quarterback who thrives on chaos, And now in his career where he's not hitting the deep ball very well, he's having a hard time. I mean, you watch him; he's indecisive when he's playing.
It's not even deep ball.
It's not even. He's indecisive. He doesn't know where to go with the ball. I think he's still trying to figure out this offense. That Tom Brady offense was very, very intricate. I mean, you had Tom Brady being there pretty much with the same, Josh McDaniels and so forth, but it's pretty much been the same system for so long. And just think how many layers they have put on that system time and time again. So you're throwing this playbook at Cam Newton, and it looks like a Bible or a encyclopedia. And that man's like, okay, I could do the first 10 pages, but I can't meet you on page 300 because there's so many intricacies in this offense. And now you don't even have the personnel. So that's another reason why they're struggling. They have, over 10?
Yeah, it comes down to execution.
10 offensive line players.
You could be the smartest guy in the league. You have to execute it on the field. And, that's where the disconnect is. Jared Goff for Sean McVay, I'm sure Sean McVay's had great game plans. Early when he was there, Goff struggled to execute. He's definitely gotten better at that now, but, that's the difference in, good offenses and bad offenses. Andy Reid with Alex Smith is a completely different offense than Andy Reid with Pat Mahomes, but because Pat Mahomes is the ultimate executor, He makes a play here, makes a play there. Cam's just not figuring that out. And that headline in the offseason of watch out. There's gonna be a lot of Josh McDaniels plays from when he was in Denver. It's like, what are you talking about? They threw the ball like 9 times a game, and they were terrible. Their defense won those games.
Yeah, exactly. And this defense isn't good enough to do that.
Tebow won that playoff game. Okay, they shouldn't have been in the playoffs. They're 8-8. Matt Prater bailed them out at least 5 times, I feel like. And then that defense was really good that year.
And if only somebody had said that the Patriots weren't going to be good this year and would finish 3rd in the division behind the Dolphins. If only somebody could have predicted that and said that. And the reason I said that, in case you didn't pick up on that, the reason I said that is because this team is who we thought they were. They lost too many guys on defense. They're still playing pretty well on defense, but that's not good enough when your offense literally cannot score points. So look at the Denver game with New England, right? They held Denver without a touchdown on like 4 or 5 drives that they should have scored a touchdown on. The defense played well, but it just wasn't enough because every time the offense got the ball, they gave it right back to the other team.
Yeah. You could argue Tim Tebow might have won that game.
Exactly, right? It's same thing, right? It's not good enough, period.
But Cam doesn't do that. I don't think he's ever.
Can we pump the brakes a little bit? Just because the fact that, one of the things that the Patriots, they do well is they take the ball away. And I know we're in cash or trash, but, this is Patriots week, so we can just go for it. They take the ball away really well. And so I think it's more the Bills beating themselves is a thing that we have to caution about. Yes, the Bills on paper look like the better team. Like, Anthony, you mentioned the Bills were the better team last year, right? But the fact of the matter is when it comes down to execution, which Josh Allen are we going to get? I definitely want the Josh Allen that we've been seeing, right? But I don't know if it's I have this thing in the back of my head where it's this psychological block for him where in these moments, this is an opportunity for him this week to kind of break through. And I'm hoping that's the case if he plays well. So we'll see.
All right, so that leads right into my next cash or trash for Anthony. Double whammy, ready? So Josh Allen's had his recent slump. We know that. We're well aware. But we know his first 4 games, he was an MVP caliber player. Do you think he still has a shot to be the MVP at the end of the year, cash or trash?
To be the MVP, he's going to be in the conversation. Is that what you mean? Will he be one of the people?
He hasn't played as well in the past few games.
Right.
Is he still going to be a finalist? We'll say that.
Yes, cash. Right. I don't think he'll win it. We talked about this in the offseason, just because he would have to blow everybody out of the water to get enough votes to win it. But will he get mentioned? Will he get noticed? Will he still be in the conversation at the end of the year? Cash. And I'm telling you why. Because he played so well in those first 4 games, everybody went on notice about him. He hasn't played as well since then, but he's still the reason this team wins. He's still what this team has to go through to win. Look at the Jets game. It wasn't Josh Allen's fault we lost or we didn't score a touchdown in that game. Right? He played pretty well. He had a 300-yard game. It wasn't his best performance, but it was still good enough to keep him in the conversation as MVP. The team is winning because of him, and when this team finishes 12-4 and one of the best teams in the AFC, that's going to get him enough recognition to be in the conversation as MVP. And although we don't know, looking at the games moving forward, we know what the strength of our offense is. It's Josh Allen, period. So it's not like the game plan is suddenly going to change and we're going to run the ball 30 times a game and Josh Allen isn't going to continue to put up stats. He's going to get the opportunity and he's going to put it up big. I think his biggest competition right now was other quarterbacks in the league, right? Look at Russell Wilson. He was the guy who was at the top of the ladder, right? Because what's he doing? He's throwing 5 touchdowns a game. He's throwing for all these yardage. But that's because his team can't get a run game going either, and they're down. They've constantly are giving up 30, 40 points a game, and they have to continue to do that, right? Look at the shootout. They ended up losing against Arizona. And I think that, people are going to notice those stats, and on paper, that's still going to be better than Allen at the end of the year. But it's Allen's play and Allen's consistency that gives him the right and will keep him in the MVP conversation. So I'm cash all the way on this.
I'm going to say trash on that just because I don't think he's going to be in the top 3. I think he's going to be on the outside looking in at maybe 4 or 5. I am pleased with his progress thus far this season. I mean, he's got 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's tied for 4th in both yards and touchdowns, and he's 3rd in QBR with 82.6. So I expect, good things to continue to happen. I just think it's a matter of adjusting. You got to be able to adjust. And we saw that, it was after those 4 games, Tennessee showed us something. Kansas City did it to us where, Josh Allen was he was hungry. He was looking for the deep. He wanted to make big plays. But we saw last week with the Jets game, he took what the defense gave him. And that to me is like, that's huge because even Bill Belichick mentioned in the press conference this week that Josh was being more patient. Sean McDermott mentioned it, that he was being more patient with the ball, taking those, check downs and those short completions. So that's the recipe for sustained success. Once you do that, then you can take, your deep shots and so forth. So I think it's just a matter of adjusting and adapting. But Josh Allen and MVP conversation as a top 3, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
Who do you have above him?
I would say at this point, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Russell Wilson, and I'm going to throw Ryan Tannehill in there. Ryan Tannehill is playing really good ball.
Huh. I don't hate it. I don't hate the inclusion of Ryan Tannehill.
You always have to include
Pat Mahomes, obviously.
Well.
He's a given. So Josh...
Not this year,
but
though.
he's a darling, media darling.
I think at the end of the season,
the Chiefs will be right up there. So
usually, not always, but normally, the team with the best record, the player on that team is usually an MVP.
Exactly why I said the Bills will get recognition as well. And you're right. I still think the Chiefs will go 13-3 and win the division.
And that's really the debate for me: is this a 12-win team or not? Or is it more of a 9-7, 10-6? I mean, it really comes down to one game, one play, all those things. But if 10-6 looks a lot different than 12-4.
Depends on the defense.
Just a note, though, Josh Allen's lowest rating, if you're a rating person, I'm really not, but 104.6 is his lowest in his first 4 games. His highest since then in the last 3 games is 90.
I'll take that. So
it's definitely something changed for sure.
Yeah.
What that is, I mean, a couple things I can notice is drop passes. I think we can mention that. If Stephon Diggs catches that ball in the end zone versus Kansas City, it's a different ball game.
Yeah. There's been a lot of drop passes.
Josh Allen's touchdown passes versus the Jets were called back. Look, if he hits those passes, if they're not called back and Diggs catches that one,
it's a much different game.
They're going to happen, and it happens to every quarterback. But, he's still going to be in the MVP conversation. He's still going to be top 3 if those 2 plays happen.
And, in
my opinion.
And when you look at the schedule coming up and what the Bills have to do to maintain lead in the division and impact on the AFC, remain, a contender in the AFC, it's going to be on the back of Josh Allen, like I said, and that is going to keep him in the MVP conversation. There's no doubt among Bills fans that Josh Allen, even in his worst game of this year, played his best football that we've ever seen. So his worst game this season is still the best we've ever seen him since the end of 2019. So that is something to be excited about, and that is going to be the momentum that hopefully carries him to this steady level of consistently good, if not excellent play. And that's how you stay in the MVP conversation. Because look at Russell Wilson. He had, how many touchdowns did he throw against Arizona? I don't even know. But he had 3 horribly disgusting interceptions that cost them the game. Russell Wilson lost that game. He did not win that game. But those of us who know Russell Wilson's name and who look at the box score aren't going to know that. You would have to watch the full game to know that. And unfortunately, when it comes to MVP voting, that's not what people do. So this game at the end of the year, the game Seattle against Arizona, isn't going to hurt Russell Wilson as much as, say, a loss would hurt Josh Allen for actually winning it. That's why I don't think, even if he does dominate and end up 12-4 and win the division and number 2 seed in the AFC, he's not going to win MVP of the league, unfortunately, because people won't vote for him.
Sometimes it's a popularity contest
exactly.
as well. And I don't think Josh Allen, even though he's been playing well and the team's winning, he's not the most popular guy, period. But I mean, record as far as record goes with the Bills, they're in a decent position here because I think they're in the easiest division in the AFC. I think we could agree with that.
AFC
South is definitely
worse.
questionable as well. But just look at the AFC North though. Pittsburgh is not going to be an undefeated team.
Right.
We know this, right? The Ravens are 5-1. The Browns are 5-2. They're good teams. I feel like they're going to beat themselves down. The winner of the division will have 10, 11 wins. Which is right there where Buffalo is, in my opinion. They're 10 or 11. I think that's the expectation. After those 2 brutal losses, I think it came down from 12, personally.
No, I still see us at 12, but that's just me personally. And going through the schedule, that's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, I mean, we could still get by with 10 or 11 wins and be the number 2 seed in the AFC.
If the Jets were on the schedule 2 more times, I could agree with that, but they're in the past now. The division games are going to be tough. The Dolphins are going to bring it the second time. The Patriots are still on there twice.
The Dolphins game is the last game of the year. It's going to be irrelevant. I don't think the Dolphins can catch us. They lost to us already. They're starting a rookie quarterback against the Rams.
Right, but if the Bills play their 2s, though, that's going to be a loss just like last year.
Yeah, it just depends on
maybe that's the difference of 12 and 11,
where they are as far as seeding goes, right? Because they may not have the luxury to pack it in at the last week. I would foresee, maybe McDermott sitting some starters, but that's way down the line. Talk to me about how are you going to beat Seattle? How are you going to hold on.
Look at Seattle just lost to Arizona. Come on, they gave up 38 points to Arizona.
Keep in mind, those are divisional matchups. They know each other's tendencies. They have a book on
Great.
it. So
Seattle's
that doesn't
coming
mean,
to Buffalo. They're still traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast, even though there's no fans.
But that doesn't mean that the Bills are just going to mop them up. For those of you who don't know, the Bills still have issues on defense. They have issues on defense. So injuries and issues alone, I mean, yes, they did improve last week, but again, that's against the Jets. Show me what that looks like against Seattle. Show me what that looks like against Arizona. Yeah. So those are 2 big tests coming up. Now, if the Bills...
But you're already erring on the side of disbelief. I'm not there yet. I agree that they have to show it and prove it, but we have to beat New England, as I just said. This is a must-win this week. But then we have to be the favorites facing Seattle. Look at how many points Seattle has given up. Our defense doesn't need to be excellent in that game. It just needs to be mediocre at best. Mediocre at best, and you will beat. No, mediocre at best, and you will beat easily that Seattle team. They are not as good as they've looked. Like I said, if you actually watch those games, Seattle's defense has been giving up way too many points. They're dealing with a lot of injuries, granted, but still, there's no excuses. You're giving up 40 points a game. Russell Wilson is throwing 3 interceptions. You can't win that way. I just don't see. No matter what, I'm not saying that we're not going to blow them out, but we're definitely going to beat them at home. They still have to travel from the West Coast. This is still COVID season.
Yeah,
they're only going to get 24 hours on the East Coast.
The words easy and Seattle don't go together ever.
They're still well coached, and despite what we think, I mean, when I look at the film,
they have a great roster.
And when I look at the film, like I said, it's based off of matchups, and so they can do some things that could definitely exploit this Bills defense because. I don't know if you guys know, but I don't know if defensively we're going to be at our best or solid. I mean, we still have injuries, so and that's playing a big part of why the defense isn't playing well. So at this, from what I've seen thus far, I do not see the Bills just coming in and taking care of the Seahawks right now. I just don't.
No, it's just that game we know is going to go either way. It's going to be close. But just to say that that's a W, I would not mark that one as a W. None of us marked that as a W in the offseason when we went through the schedule. But the next 3 opponents, this is huge for the Bills' seasons and their identity. New England and Seattle at home the next 2 weeks, and then at Arizona week, a 3rd game, and then a bye week.
This is the part of the schedule. Absolutely, this is going to show us who they are. We're either good, we're either great, or we're just good. These 3 weeks are going to show us what they are.
Right. Let's do one more cash or trash before we end it. The Patriots are having a fire sale.
Anthony, go
cash
first.
Cash or trash?
Oh, is this one on me? I'll believe it when I see it, so I'm going to say trash for now. What we heard the rumors that they were trying to trade Gilmore in the offseason this year before the season, which is crazy to think because clearly he was their best player by far and their only remaining best player from the defense last year. So if they would have done that before the season, we all would have been like, okay, they're tanking for Trevor, right? But at this point, I still will believe it when I see it. What asset? Tell me who would get traded other than Gilmore, which would be a huge splash because he's still one of the most elite cornerbacks in the NFL, no doubt about that. So who else on that team are they going to trade? I mean, what are you getting? A third-round pick for
Sony Michel, maybe?
Okay, a running back? What are you going to get for a running back? A sixth? I mean, come on. Nobody's going to give up things for
anybody in the secondary. Their secondary is really deep.
They do have a good secondary.
Anybody in the secondary,
but you really think they're going to restart that?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Again, I think the McCourties, they wouldn't trade one of them. I don't know.
That's why I'm going trash. But I just don't see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Adrian Phillips could start for a lot of teams.
My God, would I throw a party if they start trading their good players out of there, right? We've never seen that happen with Belichick. He usually does do it in the off season, so it wouldn't surprise me if Stephon Gilmore gets traded before the 2021 season, because that is a very Belichick move, saying, we think you've reached your prime, and now we're going to get max value for you. You're going to play maybe one or two more great years, and then you're going to be done. So I want to get value for you now while I can, and we get some return in terms of picks and salary cap relief. So I could see that happening for sure. But before the trade deadline, no, I'll absolutely not. I can't believe it's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you guys on this, and I'm going to say that's cash money. Just some historical fact. Now, context is always key. The New England Patriots have never been in this position where, it's rumored that they're selling the house, right? But one of the things that we do know from a historical standpoint, they got rid of Richard Seymour. Okay, they got rid of Richard Seymour September 6th of 2009 to the Oakland Raiders for a first-round pick. They got Nate Solder. They shipped Logan Mankins to the Bucks in 2014. They got rid of Chandler Jones in 2016. These are guys that were expecting big contracts. You got a Stephon Gilmore who's 30 years old right now. Stephon Gilmore wants to cash in on another contract. I mean, you've heard it around. He wants to cash in another contract. Bill Belichick's not going to pay that. They don't pay in New England, it's the Patriot way, quote unquote. They don't pay their players like that. So they're looking to clear the house because they really don't have. They got some solid pieces. You got Joe Thuney. He's on a franchise tag right now. They're not going to be able to re-sign him at the end of the season. I don't even think they have their starting quarterback on the roster right now. So they have to get as many assets as possible to even try to maybe get one of those top three quarterbacks, right? So they're going to be. But
want and doing it are different things. They definitely, I agree with you that they are in a position where they want as many assets as they can get. But are they willing to just start selling the farm and trading away the few good players they have on this roster still and starting from scratch?
You think so?
I mean, again,
there's a nostalgia
before the trade deadline.
They may swing a trade or two. It may not happen, but there is a nostalgia with players that play for New England and Bill Belichick, right? Teams go after those kind of players because of what they are in the locker room and how they prepare.
Well, he's certainly got enough head coaches out there now,
so
right?
I think there's something too. This is a winning franchise, right? So teams do, like Jacksonville Jaguars could use a guy or two from the Patriots. I mean, you could go down the list of NFL teams. These guys may not be household names, but they definitely have some solid special team contributors. They definitely have some guys on defense. They definitely have some guys on the offensive line that they could ship out.
So with the Patriots, though, if they trade people, good players, anyone, if they trade anyone really, for any type of value, it's full rebuild for them. Because, they don't pay their players, and they've gotten away with a ton. Because Bill can coach defense up, right? He can coach talent up. You don't need the most talented players to be good in New England. And they've had Tom Brady the last, 15 years. So this situation is very interesting, and I'm excited to see what happens because Bill really thinks it's his system. This system is what's winning. I think it's Tom. And you don't have Tom anymore. So, the system, it can only do so much. And I think the system only works because you had a guy like Tom who was willing to to take pay cuts who bought into this system and then would go on the field and execute and bail this team out 2 drives a game, and in close games, maybe 3. How many games did he bring them back to win? I mean, it's like unprecedented.
You're right.
And I don't think the system works.
So let me tell
Tom,
you this.
Personally.
So I'll real quick, I'll tell you the players that probably are up for trade. So you got, well, first of all, Bill Belichick has Juwan Bentley playing out of his mind. Who the hell knew who Juwan Bentley was, right? So you got
yes, that's a very
the
Belichick
McCourty brothers.
move.
I think both of them,
Agreed.
you throw them on a trade block. Stephon Gilmore, pretty much their whole secondary outside of J.C. Jackson.
That's full
I'm not saying they're all going to get traded, but these are guys that you could have if you wanted to pay for them. You could have all those guys in the secondary because Adrian Phillips was an afterthought coming from San Diego. You got the McCourty brothers, who they're a little long in the tooth. Stephon Gilmore's 30 years old.
What are you giving up? What do you think they could get in return, though? Because the term fire sale implies that you're not getting maximum value because you just want to get rid of it, right? Okay,
the best pick that you can get is Stephon Gilmore for a second-round pick. I don't think anybody's going to pay a first-round pick for him. So I think your ceiling is second.
Not with that contract.
Now, if you wanted to throw in maybe a Joe Tooney, I think that probably warrants a second-round pick just because he's one of the
you think they'll trade him? Wow.
Just keep in mind, he's on a franchise tag. They don't want to have to pay Joe Tooney or Stephon Gilmore. That's the whole reason why those two, in my opinion, are on the trade block. I don't care what they say about Joe Tooney. They would trade his ass in 2 seconds.
But I think this team's realizing we need a quarterback really bad.
Yep.
I'll trade anybody for a quarterback. And if you're serious about drafting one, you have to trade Gilmore to get a high pick to even have a shot at one of the top 3 guys next year. That's how it works. How long were the Bills in this cycle of bad quarterback play, and they could not get out of it.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
And look what happened.
You have to go all in to
let
take a shot. You still might not work for you.
The Jets outplayed the Bills prior to the draft that year. That's why they got the number 3rd overall selection, because the Bills are sitting on their hands. You have to be, to Eric's point, you have to be aggressive. So, yeah, it's a fire sale. You're going to have to trade up
1 or 2.
Because, the Patriots are going to finish probably 6-10 at their worst, right? So you're going to have to trade assets to get up. So they're already looking at probably 12 right now. So you're going to have to give up some assets to get to that number 1 through 3 or 1 through 4.
Okay, but even then, we started in the middle of this discussion saying that they need offensive assets, that they have nobody on offense. So they don't have cap space, they don't have offensive players, and now you want them to get assets so that they can trade everything away to go up 10 spots and get the number 2 quarterback in the draft.
It starts with the quarterback position. You can have the best wide receivers out there, but if your quarterback's doo-doo, you can't do anything. So that you need the leader, the signal caller. You need.
Do you think Belichick believes that, though? That's not how Belichick.
I believe
that's
he
not
is
how
that way.
The Patriots
that's how
did it,
he
right?
is.
Belichick built the defense and got lucky with Brady, who was a late round pick and turned into something, right? So they didn't build that team around Tom Brady. They actually never built that team around Tom Brady, even when they were winning Super Bowls. It was all about the defense. It was all, the one year they brought in Randy Moss. Other than that, they never brought in superstars to play with him.
I'll tell you what, though.
Tom was good enough.
Do you guys remember Drew Bledsoe? They drafted Drew Bledsoe. They drafted Tom Brady.
Stud, yeah.
They drafted Jimmy Garoppolo when they still had the best quarterback.
That was before Belichick.
Before, why did they have Jimmy Garoppolo? Why did they draft him? They drafted him with a 2nd or 3rd round pick. And when Tom Brady was in his prime, and Jacoby Brissett. So Belichick actually has a mindset of you gotta have the quarterback. That's where I think most GMs would. I would hope all GMs would agree with this, but most GMs would agree with you gotta start at the quarterback position. Got to.
Maybe he makes a move for clear some cap and sign Dak Prescott.
That would be Plan B.
That means
that would be a Plan B.
Yeah,
Cam is probably washed up at this point if they're strategizing to get a quarterback.
That's a good name to throw out there.
And a guy like Dak,
great idea.
Coming off injury, he might agree to a 2-3 year contract. We know he wanted a shorter contract to begin with. Now coming off injury, he's probably not going to get the $40 million he wanted. So maybe New England can say, "Hey, come hang out with us for $35 million."
And I think that he would fit in that
for
offense.
3 years.
So I think it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's fun to watch because we've just known one New England team. It's Tom Brady and Bill together dominating the league, and that's just where we are now. Is like the best reality television for men. It's just so
That's
fun.
true.
Yes, their
That's
fall
true.
from grace has not been a fall. It's been a free fall off of a skyscraper. Normally these teams ebb and flow, but the Patriots have been up there for so long. Now they're falling flat on their faces. Finally,
when I see 7 losses, then I'll be convinced. Till
7?
then, my brain's just like, no, New England's going to win 10 somehow.
6-10. They're going to be 6-10 on the year.
We'll see. Anyway, you ready for 5 for 5, Anthony? We got to get out of Cash or Trash. That was a 40-minute Cash or Trash. Great conversations, though. So much drama around this team, and it's just so fun to talk about. I could talk about it all day.
Absolutely.
We could do another 4 hours if you want. But anyway, let's kick it off with 5 for 5.
All right, here we go. Coming off a pretty rough week for me. We were doing really well. Never had a losing record going into last week. But unfortunately, with my 5 picks last week, we went 1-4, including my first loss of my big bet of the week, which last week was Seattle over Arizona, -3. So they lost that one for me, unfortunately, and we did go 1-4. But the good news is I'm still 22-13 on the season. That's almost twice as many wins as losses, and we're going to get it right back this week. Everybody has a little bit of down in their gambling. You can't expect to be at the top of your game all the time. You just want to be in the winning zone. So let's get at it this week. My big bet of the week is a bet that I cannot believe is on the board right now, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers getting points +4 against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, is this game going to be a well-fought game and everybody knows what happens when Pittsburgh and Baltimore meet? Yes. Do I expect it to be a grind? Yes. Am I confident Pittsburgh's going to win? No. But getting 4 points, this game was going to be close regardless. I think it's definitely within a 3-point game. So to get the Steelers +4, this is one of my most confident big bets yet, other than maybe week 1 and 2 when I was betting against the Jets. So here we go. All right, so that's my biggest bet of the week. Definitely go all in on that one. My next pick is the 49ers getting 3 points again, so I'm picking the underdogs here, against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. The 49ers have been playing better football, period. They finally got healthy on defense. They're hitting their stride. They've been playing better on offense as well, even though they're pretty injured when it comes to the running back position, although deep. In Seattle, well, we just saw what they did against Arizona. How, if he threw 3 interceptions against Arizona, what's he going to do against a better defense like the 49ers? And that home field advantage isn't what it used to be, obviously, without the fans there. So I'm taking the 49ers getting 3 points. I actually think they win this game. So that's my second pick of the week. My third pick of the week, I'm taking the Rams -3.5 against the rookie quarterback and the Miami Dolphins. Now, I know they are coming off a bye and they had time to plan, but regardless of all of that, the Rams are playing really good football. They have Aaron Donald, and Tua is still a rookie. He's going to have to work through being a rookie and making mistakes, and he's not going to be able to rise above it against this team. I like the Rams to win big in this one, so I'm picking the Rams -3.5. My fourth pick of the week, I am taking the Chargers -3 against the Denver Broncos here in Denver. The Chargers have been playing great. I think Justin Herbert has been Rookie of the Year over some of the other guys. I really think he has been playing top of his game. That offense has been scoring. Their defense has been decent. And the Broncos are struggling now that they're getting some of their injured players back. Drew Lock is back, but they're still not playing up to their top talent. So I'm taking the Chargers to win this one by more than 3 points. Chargers -3 at Denver. And my last pick of the week, I'm taking the Eagles -7 against the Dallas Cowboys. For 2 weeks, the Dallas Cowboys have been absolutely dreadful. They haven't been able to score. They've looked totally outmatched. They don't look like they belong on an NFL field, and that's pretty embarrassing. And I know that the Eagles certainly have not been lighting the world on fire, and the NFC least has certainly lived up to that name. But in this one, again, I just don't see how the Eagles can't beat the Dallas Cowboys by more than 7 points, so I'm taking the Eagles -7. So that wraps up my 5 picks of the week. Here we go again. The big bet of the week, Steelers getting 4 against Baltimore. The 49ers getting 3 versus Seattle. The Rams minus 3.5 at Miami. The Chargers minus 3 in Denver. And the Eagles minus 7 at home versus Dallas. Let's go. Let's get back on the winning side. Let's go 5-0 this week.
Man, that's crazy. The NFC East, nobody wants to win.
I know,
that division.
it's bad.
It's still wide
bad.
open, though. It's kind of fun to watch. Like, every single game matters, especially when nobody can win.
Yeah, it's fun to listen to the stats. ESPN, I said this on the live show on Tuesday, said that the division winner could still end up with 4 wins, as low as 4 wins.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's just that bad.
Yeah, that extra playoff slot, it's like, it's just crazy. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully somebody can at least get to 8 wins. Like, goddamn. Like, the Bills didn't make the playoffs for 17 years. It just makes you wonder.
With
like,
9 wins.
How does
year.
this not happen? It's like
rough.
insane. Anyway, Bills are at home to take on the New England Patriots. 1 o'clock kickoff. Bills looking to go to 6-2 for the second consecutive season. Patriots at 2-4. It's going to be, you said high
I heard
winds?
40 miles an hour winds
Oh,
on
my
Sunday.
God.
We got the weather guys here.
Yeah, it's going to be
50-mile-an-hour winds.
40 to 50 mile per hour winds.
Oof.
This is unbelievable. I don't know how you play football in that weather. And this is the second game in Buffalo where the weather is so bad that it's affecting the Buffalo Bills game plan.
Right. So it could be run heavy. The Patriots average, 155 rushing yards per game, 4th in the league. The Bills are at 97, 29th in the league. So, I mean, they could, don't expect a lot of kicks. I mean, we do have a big leg kicker, but with 50-mile-an-hour winds, that's going to be really
I think
difficult.
the Bills will be able to pretty much stick to their game plan. Just because you have a guy in Josh Allen who he's equipped for these type of games with that strong arm. I don't think they're going to pass as much, but he'll still be able to get his numbers. So,
yeah, people laugh when the Bills are always looking for strong arm quarterbacks and big leg kickers, and having been to Buffalo many, many, many times. Yeah, you do need those things because it is crazy windy. The field's 50 foot
it's
underground.
It's always windy, yes.
That wind is crazy there, and it swirls around in the dome, So, it does matter. And it shows with Josh that he is able to throw through that wind, really effectively.
Yes, normally, but you're talking a windy day in that stadium is 15 miles an hour. That's a windy day. 15. We're talking 40 to 50. No human being is going to be able to throw a football in that weather, period.
Yeah.
You're just not going to get it done.
I mean, Bill is going to have to leave the sleeves on this week.
Let's be real, though. It's not going to be blowing
something.
40 to 50 miles per hour the entire game. I mean, they'll have their moments. I think they'll have their moments. Josh is not – okay, you guys think Josh is not going to take some shots? Are we kidding ourselves here? Josh is going to take some shots. He's going to be able to throw the ball. Maybe not, like I said, maybe not as much. They're going to have to get some help in the run game. Maybe John Feliciano brings some needed help there. But I think the game comes down to special teams, and I hate that. But this game will be won by special teams. Whoever plays better on special teams will win.
Yeah, I mean, I have faith in the Bills' special teams game this season.
I mean,
they
do
pretty
too.
much won the game last week. Give that to the special teams for sure.
If you're talking, I mean, the wind is going to be a huge factor. I don't see Josh Allen airing it out. Tuesday I was all excited saying he's going to have another 300-yard game. He's going to score 4 touchdowns. He should make it look easy versus this team. But now with the weather, it's a totally different ball game. This pretty much brings these teams neck and neck.
Yep. It is a level playing field, no fans.
But look,
so
if you can't run the ball,
but
you have to throw it. I mean, if they start stuffing our run game, you're up Poops Creek. You got to throw the ball. So,
but if you call a run play, you're going to line up Josh Allen on the line and have him stand there until the wind dies down for the 2 seconds you could throw it, and then say hike and do a quick pass.
You got to play through it.
It's not going to.
You got to play through it.
I mean, hopefully it's not as bad as they say it's going to be, and it ends up just being a windy day.
Look, I
and
think
that's
the Bills are a good run team. They just haven't really lined up and had a game plan for that yet. It's a three-headed monster. Zach Moss, Singletary, Josh Allen. They can effectively run the ball.
I agree that I think
with
Josh
Sony
Allen.
Michel out, I'd say they may be a more effective run team than the Patriots. I know the stats don't say that.
No,
but
Patriots have a better offensive line.
The Bills are effective in the passing game. Whereas New England's not. They have to run the football.
Patriots have been dealing with injuries on their offensive line, though.
They've
That's
had
their
over
problem.
10.
The Bills just have chose not to have a game plan.
The Patriots have had over 10 offensive line combinations of starters. So Joe Tooney's going to be out this week. That's going to hurt them. So you got Michael Onwenu who's probably going to play guard again, and then who the hell knows who plays tackle. But yeah, I think play action game for the Bills is going to be huge because you're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, you just can't abandon the pass game altogether. Right. They're going to have to throw the ball, and I think they're going to do well at it.
So before we get into like matchups and stuff, this stat's really telling about the Patriots. They have the least amount of penalties in the league right now with 15. They're first in the league in that. The Bills are 29th with 48 penalties.
Wow.
How telling is that?
The rest love New England. But they are a disciplined team. So I will.
They're a disciplined team. You cannot make mistakes versus them. No matter how bad they are, you have got to play.
Hey, just think how hard punting the ball is going to be. Do we really trust Bojorquez to get the job done?
I don't know. After last week, we don't need.
You might this week.
Cut him.
You know what I'm saying? So special teams going to play huge
factor. But that's the problem. That's the problem. I don't think you punt in this weather either. You're going to see some crazy stuff in this game. If the wind is really as bad as they're saying it is, I don't care if you're on your own 20-yard line and it's 4th and 5. You're going for it. You can't do much else. You're not going to punt it into the wind and it ends up in the end zone that's behind you, for a safety. It's just... it's real. You're gonna, if the wind is as bad as they say, and God, I hope it isn't. God, I hope that it just blows over and it's just a windy day and not as bad as they say it is, because that would favor the Bills. But in this case, again, it makes it a level playing field, and all you're waiting for is that one break. And I will say one of my predictions that I made Tuesday, I am going to hold to, and that is a defensive touchdown, because probably your best chance to score is going to be to punch the ball out, pick it up, and run it into the end zone, with no guys in front of you. So hopefully that does still happen for the Bills. But I don't think either team is going to come in ready to throw the ball. They're going to be running the ball on the ground. I mean, at some point, if the wind is as bad as they say, why would you even cover a wide receiver? I would put all defensive linemen out there. No need for a cornerback. Let that guy run, because they're not going to throw him the ball. They can't. They're not physically capable of throwing a ball in 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to be ugly. And who knows what's going to happen. I mean, and that's going to affect the score too, right? Even if you get a touchdown, you can't go for an extra point, really, especially now that it's further back in that kind of wind. So everybody's going to be going for 2. You could end up with a score of like 8-6 or, something like that.
Or like 50-3.
But the thing is, if they run the ball more, both sides are going to be ready for that, right? If you're really incapable of passing the ball, both sides are going to be playing the run all day long, because it's coming.
The Patriots will be ready. They play in Foxborough, not Miami, They don't have great weather either.
Exactly.
And they've won playoff games in these conditions. Like, they've been there. They've done it. They've proven that they're superior. It's time for the Bills to step up and make it happen. This is it. You want to be a good team in this league, it goes through New England. It always has. But this year, you're a better team by far. And you have to show up and execute. I don't care if the weather, if it snows, 20 feet. You still have to beat this team because you're supposed to, right? You want to win the division? That's what you got to do. So anyway, we're a little short on time, so let's get to our keys to the game. Sterling, what do you think about what's the key to this game to get a victory?
Josh Allen has to trust his eyes in the pass game. Continue to take the short routes or the check downs to move the chains. That's one. I think that special teams, like I mentioned, is another one. Special teams, Bojorquez is going to have to punt the ball effectively. Or, let's say the wind is swirling as we assume that it potentially could be, but get some hang time on that thing, At least get the ball up in the air where it can have some hang time. I mean, if you're backed up in near your own end zone, you got to punt. I mean, if it's 4th and 7, 4th and 5, 4th and 4, I mean, in the wind, you have to.
I think you have that backwards. You have it backwards. You punt the ball on the ground like you're kicking it off in that case, rather than rather than punt it in the air, because the longer the ball is in the air, the more time the wind has to grab it and throw it back at you. Unless you're kicking into the wind. Let's remember the wind goes both ways here, right? So somebody's going to have the wind at their back at some point.
You could try the Australian style of kicking, but the reason why I say that is because the New England Patriots are so good on special teams. I don't want them to have the opportunity to advance the ball any more than it has to be. You know what I'm saying? So if you kick that line drive kick, what you're doing is you're allowing, it's kind of like out kicking your coverage, but you're allowing, a runner to basically have free reign, right? So I would prefer, even if it's only a 20, 30-yard net gain, I would almost prefer you to, put that ball in the air as high as possible, because you're already going to be in a disadvantage just due to the weather. And if it's howling as much as they say it is, I want hang time. I want them to fair catch. I want to put Cam Newton on the field as much as possible in those situations.
I'm still confused by the physics there, but I get what you're saying. I just don't know that it's going to be possible in the high wind.
Well, first of all, we don't trust Bojorquez. We do know he has a very strong leg. So all I'm saying is, instead of doing that line drive kick, I don't want them, because I feel like their special teams is so deadly. I don't want them returning punts. I don't want them returning kickoff returns. I want them to earn it on offense. Cam Newton has shown they have an inability to move the ball consistently. So rather than giving the special teams an opportunity to move the ball, I want to put all the onus on that run game and on Cam Newton to throw the ball. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm definitely on board with that idea. That makes perfect sense. I absolutely 100% agree. Put the ball in Cam Newton's hands, period, and that's going to help you in this game.
The Patriots on third down, 38.8%, 24th in the league. Bills are second in the league, 52.4%.
I want Cam. If we lose, I want Cam Newton to beat us. Show us that he can beat us, and I don't think he can.
It's not going to happen.
That's very reasonable. Very reasonable. He's been struggling.
Absolutely.
So, Anthony, what do you got for key to the game?
Key to the game is I'm going to go with Josh Allen getting it done. And in the wind, he might not be able to pass the ball, but he's going to have to run it. And it's going to be about him reading the defense and knowing when he can and cannot run the ball, right? If he fakes the handoff to the running back and slides out or whatever it may be, great. But he's going to have to run the ball more in this game than he has in the last four, and look more like he did in the first couple of games when he was, they were calling the quarterback runs a little bit more in that game. So it's this win still comes on the back of Josh Allen, no matter what way you twist it. No matter how many times they hand the ball off to a running back because of the wind, Josh Allen's still going to be the reason we win this game, and he could still make the short pass. So maybe he rolls out, gets into space, and, a running back or a tight end is right there for him to flick the ball to if there's a guy coming at him, right? So he's just got to make the good decisions in this game. He's got to be ready to run the ball. We know he's not afraid, so it's not like he's afraid to get hit or he's afraid to get hurt. He's going to get it done. He's going to put it all on the line. It all still goes through Josh Allen, and I'm watching him in the run game.
I have one more key. One more key. Good. The Bills are going to have to use a screen game. Now that the weather is what it is, you're going to have to use a screen game to get these guys in space to make a play for some rack. And also in the run game, you're going to have to use misdirection. I want to see some jet sweep action. I want to see pulling guards and trap concepts. Right. Now that you have John Feliciano back, it should open up the run game slightly. So we've seen that on film that the Patriots do have a hard time of controlling the line of scrimmage on the outside. So there are opportunities to be had because they lack speed on the edges. So they're in a 3-4. So I do expect, just like San Francisco, abuse them on misdirection, jet sweep action, and those kind of in screen games.
Yes.
You have to come out and use that to your advantage.
I say my key to game real quick here. The receivers have got to win their matchups. I think if you do that alone and Josh Allen can hit them, I think you win this game. Mm-hmm. Because if it's a shootout scenario, the Patriots aren't designed to do that. They've shown that they cannot do that. This receiving core, this receiving group that the Bills have should be able to match up equally with New England's defenders.
Absolutely.
I get they're the best in the league, but like with Stephon Diggs and John Brown beat them last year. Cole Beasley's been in this league a long time. You got to win your matchups. Give Josh Allen a chance to hit you and show them, we're here to stay. Our passing game is dominant, and now we've proven it. That's what I want to see.
I agree 100% with that. That's part of what I said on the live show when I was getting all excited, because I said the fact of the matter is they have a good secondary, but we have 3 great receivers who are going to be out there. Brown is going to be back for this game. So you've got Diggs and Brown going in on a play. One of those guys is going to be open, and then you still got Cole Beasley. They can beat their defense. It's not a matter of, are receivers capable of beating those guys? They are, absolutely. Gilmore is one of the best cornerbacks in the league, but he can get burned by a guy like Diggs. We're going to see that happen at some point. So if we're able to throw the ball in this game, I absolutely agree that is definitely a key to the game. I have one, though, that I think we're going to all be on board with. It's pretty generic to say stop the run. But in a game like this, when Cam Newton is struggling the way he is, you have got to key in and focus and stop whoever they're handing the ball to and not let Cam Newton be the free runner, right? So you've got to stop the run, full stop, period, end of story. You know it's coming. They can't throw the ball. You can do one-on-one against their receivers all day, bring extra pressure onto Cam Newton, get ready up the middle, for them to hand the ball off. I want to see penetration. I want to see them stopping the run. And I don't just mean giving up 4 yards of play. I mean stopping it in the backfield, forcing them into 3rd and long situations, forcing them to punt. Excuse me. I definitely think that is a huge key to this game. We know that's the Patriots' strength. We know they can't run the ball. Just line up and prepare for it and make them throw the ball, and you're going to win this game.
All right, final score, Anthony?
Well, on Tuesday, my final score prediction was 34-3. And I absolutely love that score. That's what I want it to be. If the wind is not a factor, I 100% think that is going to be the score, and I will stick behind it. But with this wind issue, I'm going to modify that, and I'm going to give a final score of 18-6. And I think the Bills win, obviously, 18-6.
Sterling, final score?
16.
And I'll go 24-14 Bills.
I'm taking the Bills for sure.
All right. Yeah, I think in this one, realistically, should pick the Bills, but history would tell you otherwise. Look, I'm not going to be shocked if the Bills lose this game, though. Seriously.
Why you got to be the downer? I'm surprised you even picked them to win. We know in the preseason
Bill
were
has
talking.
their number. Bills 35-5 against the Bills since 2000. That's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? He's seen different regimes, different schemes. I mean, it's just bad luck. I think it's down to karma, honestly. Anyway, let's move on to our picks. Try to wrap this up quickly because we are over time. This is a really good football game. The 6-0 Steelers going to Baltimore to take on the 5-1 Ravens. Sterling, what do you got?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. That is a tough game. You know what? I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. And I'm gonna go with the bold stat here. Lamar Jackson has under 165 yards passing.
Is that a bold stat? I don't know, but I'm definitely picking the Steelers in this one, too. You heard me talk about it in my picks. I do think the Steelers are going to win. They're getting points in this, so they're not the favorite to win it. But Baltimore, they've done great things on both sides of the ball, but I still think there's no team more consistent than the Steelers. I got to pick them to stay undefeated.
I'm going to take the Ravens at home because, the only thing in their way is the Steelers' 6-0 record. If they can win this game, it's going to give them a huge leg up in winning the division, which is going to give them a huge leg up in being in the conversation for that number 1 seed. They know that. They've been here before. I'm taking the Ravens. 5-2 Rams at the 3-3 Dolphins with Tua starting.
I'm going to go with the Rams. You're starting a rookie quarterback with Aaron Donald in front of you. I think the morale on this squad, they love Fitz, and I think that's going to hurt them. I think, the first quarter for Tua is going to be huge. So I don't think he's going to get it done. Like I've told you guys, I've never really been a big fan of Tua, so I'm not going to be pulling for him, obviously. So I'm definitely going with the Rams.
Yeah, I've got the Rams in this one, too. Another one of my picks from my 5 for 5 segment. I just think they're going to overpower them in this one. Really tough matchup for Tua's first game. I get it coming off a bye, but yeah, he's going to have to really be something special to win this one.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Rams as well. I think a 6-2 record. They're 5-2 right now. I think a 6-2 record. They're in the conversation for a serious contender, and they've kind of been overlooked because there's the Arizonas of the world and the Russell Wilsons of the world. But I think it's time to talk about the Rams after this game. Let's go New York Jets 0-7 at the Kansas City Chiefs at 6-1.
Well, Chiefs next. I mean, there's nothing to say about that.
All right. Obviously, wait. Obviously, all of us are picking the Chiefs here. So let me ask this. The line on this game was insane. The highest line I've seen in a very long time. 21 points. The Chiefs are minus 21. So tell me that. Do you pick the Chiefs winning
Absolutely.
by 21?
No, I don't.
Okay. That's interesting. That's much more interesting than picking the Chiefs or the Jets.
Look, the Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions. They have an X on their back. Everyone wants to give their best effort versus them. Pat Mahomes is a star, gets $500 million over the next 10 years. X on his back, right? I think the Jets will come out and play okay. I mean, they gave the Bills a run. Let's not forget.
And when do they fire Gase? After he gets crushed in this game, or what?
I'm not sure they're going to fire Gase.
Which would be great.
Which is even more crazy.
That would be, yes, we'd love that. We'd love to see that. I'm not taking the Chiefs minus 21 in this one either, but I do expect them to win it by a large margin.
I'll take the Chiefs by 20, not 21.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go 1-5 Vikings. What a disappointment. At the 5-1 Packers.
This game in Green Bay. I'm going to go with
Green
the
Bay.
Yep.
Yeah, this has upset written all over it, but the Vikings are like demoralized and not playing anymore for the season, which is strange to see. But yeah, I think the Packers win.
Yeah, I think Devontae Adams is finally blowing up as expected, and I don't think the Vikings they have all the talent in the world to beat the Packers, but it's not going to be in Green Bay. So I'll take Packers on that one. The 4-2 Colts at the 3-3 Detroit Lions.
I'm going to go with the Colts. I mean, they are the better team. They've kind of been a little quiet on the offensive side recently, so I do expect them to get a little bit more juice on that offense. So I'm going to go with the Colts.
Well, I always say never bet on a game with Detroit, and I made that mistake last week. I took Atlanta to beat Detroit, -1, and of course they came back at the end of the game, scored a game-winning touchdown with no time left, and that was one of my losses. So unfortunately, I did lose that one, but I'm also taking Indy here because I don't trust the Lions. I don't think they're that good, and Indy's coming off a bye. They have a good defense. They know what they're doing on offense. I'm taking Indy.
I'll go Detroit here, just because they're close geographically, and I think the Lions are motivated after that game last week. It was kind of a miracle that happened. So it gives you a positive attitude, right?
Yeah, it does.
I think,
and
the
it's
Lions
funny
are
that they try
here.
to blame
Hey,
Todd
Eric.
Gurley for that loss when the defense can't stop someone from gaining 75
Oh,
yards on the
God.
last
Doesn't
drive.
matter.
Yeah, no, it was definitely on them.
When you believe luck's on your
6
side,
seconds.
when you start believing luck's on your side, things happen.
Hey, Eric, who caught the game-winning touchdown? It's your boy, T.J. Hawkinson.
Oh, yeah. Well, I knew this. Well, duh. I mean, it'd be nice if he was catching touchdowns for the Bills right now, huh?
Yeah, well, I think
I'm not
we're
going to
pretty
beat
good
up on
where we are.
Ed, but TJ is a stud for sure. But Atlanta, I picked Atlanta to win the division, by the way. That was, but
big letdown.
in my defense, they could have won every single game this year. Isn't that insane?
They've been in it. It's terrible.
It's
What a
insane.
letdown, man.
Insane. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to say they could have been a contender. Anyway, 3-3 Raiders at the 5-2 OBJ-less Browns.
Oh, I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one. Raiders get a W.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Raiders here. I just don't trust Cleveland to get anything done. I know everybody's saying, oh, look, Baker's so much better without OBJ on the field. And that's just crazy talk. But his record is good this year against terrible teams and horrible this year against good teams. And this is, in my mind, that the Raiders are a good team. So they are going to beat the Browns.
I'm going to take Cleveland in this one because I think Baker has confidence right now. 5-touchdown game. That's what the fans wanted to see. That's what the team wanted to see. That's what the coach wanted to see. And I think Baker's gonna have some swag
against the
this
Bengals.
week.
Come on,
Yeah,
against the team that has no defense.
But he won the game for the team, and we have not seen that from him in a period of time. But now you did it. Now you have momentum. This team's 5-2. They're a good football team.
No,
they're
not.
winning. They're winning.
Hard eye roll. Hard eye roll. I wish you could see me right now.
And you think the Raiders are like legit contenders to beat the Browns at home?
Don't make it sound like it's a Super Bowl.
Yes. The Raiders are also a letdown team. Let's not forget.
They are, but they're not the Browns. And they've beaten better teams than the Browns have this year.
It's still early in the season.
Henry Ruggs, man,
They
he's
also
going to go
don't play
off in this game.
They don't play the Steelers and Baltimores of the world. Let's go 5-1 Titans at the 5-1 Bengals.
Titans get a W. They bounce back.
Yeah, probably a higher scoring game than most expect, but I'm picking the Titans.
Yeah, I'll go Titans here until they can get some protection for Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
He's throwing for like 308 yards a game, but you can't play defense, so.
As expected, he looks good, looks poised. He's exactly as advertised, in my opinion. Get that dude some help. All right, 4-2 Chargers. I think they're better than 4-2. At the 2-4 Broncos.
Divisional game. I do expect the Chargers to come out with a win, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers, like I said in my picks. I just think they're the better team. They're playing really well. The Broncos are still trying to get it together, especially on offense, and they're playing a pretty good defense again in the Chargers, so I'm taking the Chargers.
So I feel like the Chargers are one of those teams that they should be winning. They just haven't learned how to win. They're gonna figure it out eventually. And maybe it's in this game, but I'll take the Chargers. 4-3 San Francisco 49ers at the 5-1 Seattle Seahawks.
You know what? I'm going to go with the 49ers on this game. I think they got a little something brewing. I think they're getting their mojo back. They're running the ball really well, so I think that's gonna be one of those things that carries them for success rest of the season. So I'll go with the 49ers, even though America says that the Seattle will win.
Yeah, you heard me in my picks. I took the 49ers getting points in this game. They are not the favorite in this game, but I am going to go ahead and pick them. I think they're going to win. Like you said, they're putting it all together. They're getting strong. I think they keep that momentum going.
I'm going to take Seattle in a blowout because the reason the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl last year is because of the San Francisco team. They got the 1 seed. Seattle, got embarrassed when they played them. It was a close game, but they have their number. This is the one they marked on their schedule and said, we need to win this game to be the dominant team. I think they get it done. Let's go 4-2 Saints at the Chicago Bears at 5-2.
Well, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. The Saints will not be having. I don't think they'll be having Michael Thomas, right? Is that correct? So I'm going to go with the Bears. I think they can. I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, Drew Brees actually should be in the MVP conversation for what he's been able to do without some of his biggest weapons on that side of the ball. Yeah, they're without Michael Thomas. They've been without him since week 1, and now they're without Emmanuel Sanders. So, I mean, they're down to their bones at wide receiver, and Drew Brees is still finding a way to do exactly what he needs to do to win the game. I'm going to pick the Saints here. They're still my Super Bowl pick. They're still my team in the NFC. I think when they get healthy, they're going to start blowing people out. But this is a big statement to say we are a legitimate contender team. We're going to take care of it.
According to Adam Schefter, Michael Thomas returned to practice yesterday. That's a good sign for him. I think if he plays, that's going to give the team confidence. I'll take the Saints. Let's go Sunday Night Football, the 2-5 Andy Dalton-led Cowboys at the 2-4-1 Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, will they actually declare a winner from this slugfest?
This is for the division.
Right?
This is the Sunday night game? This is the Sunday night game?
Sunday night game.
Man.
Brutal. Can't they flex that out of there? Can't one of them guys get COVID and they can say, COVID, we got to switch the time?
Even though these teams are bad, they're still going to get 60 million views.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll still watch it.
I'm going to go with the...
I've got money on it, though.
Carson Wentz is playing a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, this was one of my picks, my fifth pick. Yeah, I'm definitely going with the Eagles to win this game. Dallas has looked absolutely miserable in every way, shape, and form, on defense, on offense. Man, without Dak, they can't seem to pass the ball anymore. All of a sudden, Ezekiel Elliott can't run the ball anymore. They're just demoralized and beat up, and they can't get anything done. I'm going with the Eagles.
You know, I'll take the Eagles too, because I think there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on with the Cowboys. I don't
Questioning
know.
the coach. Yeah, the coach
call
got
them
called out.
divas, whatever, but like they were questioning Jason Garrett last year. Now they're questioning the coach in the first 6 games this year. What are you doing? Play football. Anyway, Monday night, last game of the week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 5-2 at the New York Giants at 1-6. Giants are still in the division though. They could still win.
The Giants aren't gonna win. Let's go there with that. I think they're gonna. I think the Bucs are gonna put it on them, man. It's gonna be. I would say they're gonna win by at least 15 points.
You know, the New York Giants are a team every year that suddenly comes out of nowhere to beat a contending team and get it done when nobody expects they can, even though they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. And every year it's that way, and then it seems like when they have a big game against a divisional rival or one that they really need to win where they're the favorite, they fall on their faces and lose. So the Giants are certainly capable of coming out of nowhere and dominating a game like this and pulling off a win as an underdog. That being said, I don't think it's happening this week, and it kills me to have to say this, but
I thought you were going to stick to your guns and go with, the Giants because Brady. Yeah, I just felt it coming that you were just going to straight go with Brady.
Reverse psychology here. I'm picking Tom Brady in the Bucs. Tom Brady's going to have 5 touchdowns.
You're picking Blaine Gabbert in the Tampa Bay
There
Buccaneers.
you go. That's what I really want to see. Then that team will be really on fire.
This is like the most lopsided matchup game of the season so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants on defense can't stop anyone, and they're sure as hell. They're going to be so lost in this game. It should be fun to watch. Anyway, thanks for sticking with us this week on a long episode. It is Patriots week. We knew it was going over. We all did.
Let's go.
That's all right, though. Lots of good topics in there. Dude, Bill's got to have this win.
Must win game. Get it done. Let's go.
2020 is a new era, right? There is no more 35-5 stats. It's the other way around. Let's start 2020 off.
Hey, I want to lay my head in bed on Sunday night
baby.
knowing, okay, we took care of business. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, and this will separate the Bills.
It's a big game.
You know,
it's a big game.
It's a hell of a lot different than 5-3, and that gives them a hold on the division, which I haven't said that word ever. What is the proper term for that? I don't even know.
Stronghold.
Stronghold on the division.
Yeah.
Perennial sucking against the Patriots.
All right, so we'll see you Tuesday night for the recap. It's going to be a good game.
Election night. Ooh, double duty.
Go vote.
Oh, boy.
That's right. Get out there and vote.
Later.
Go Bills.